Angela would have to take me with her, and she would cut out of school or be smoking in the schoolyard, and then I would go home. Of course, I was 6 years younger than her, and I would tell my mother, Angela's smoking.
And listen, not everybody's going to agree with my decision. I can give a fuck less. You're in that position, it's you who got to face it, then you do what you need to do.
Little Changolini, he gets to the jail and
steal cars from Maryland and take them to Delaware to a chop shop.
The inside prison in Thailand, as well as what Victor Malarek, the reporter, did to get me out of there.
And I sat down and thought about it for the longest time. Okay, but once I made up my mind, it was about survival. I need to take care of my kids. I need to take care of my family. And when a guy's not being loyal to you, how could you be loyal to him?
Welcome to Chattin with Staxx. Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Joe Lopez and Stevie Bullets. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on?
What's up, Staxx?
Chillin'. How you guys been, man?
All is good, bro.
Good.
What's going on, Bullets?
Just enjoying the
T
weather.
Dizzle, what's up? T Dizzle says, great guest. Everett, how are you? So we got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. You've been in the news lately, Mr. Lopez.
Me or?
Yeah.
Mr. Lopez has been.
You
You have been too, right? With your documentary.
Yeah. That's good.
So, the large guy Sarno. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, about Mike?
Yeah, so he tried to get a compassionate release, right? And he lost his bid for a compassionate release.
He tried, but the judge turned him down.
So what's the reason why they turn him down? And what's his state right now in prison? Is he doing all right?
From what I read in the pleadings, he's not doing all right. His health, he's ballooned up. He's got issues with his health. Unfortunately, every judge looks at these cases differently. Some judges might let him out. Others won't let him out. He got stuck with the judge, just won't let him out. I mean, he's got all the characteristics, everything he needs to get out, but they're not going to let him out. When you got that OC stamp on your file, it's always a problem.
Yeah.
Follows you, right?
Never get rid of it.
Yeah, it follows you around, and they pretty much make up their own things too. It seems.
It seems
like the government likes to put people in positions that they're not even have no part of it.
Well, the government operates in strange ways. There's no question about that. Some people are luckier than others. The government doesn't bother them, and other people, the government's always on them. But Mike got a long sentence. I thought it was kind of basically too long, and hopefully his health will improve a little bit, and he'll be able to come out and rejoin society. I mean, look at I can't remember his name. Gabino. He got out. He's like 85 or 86.
Why? How much time does he have, Sarno?
He got 20. I don't know when his out date is, but the other guy just talked about, I think he did 20 calendars or 21 calendars. He did a long time in there.
Yeah, look at Scarpa Jr. He did a lot of time. He's out now.
Yeah, so people get in and out. That hopefully it'll happen. It'll happen to Mike, and he'll be able to get out.
20 years, shit. He hasn't been in that long either.
No, he's probably been around 8 years, 9 years.
So he'll probably do what, like 7 more?
Well, he's got to do 85% of the 20, so that you can do the math.
So you've been on a lot of different cases, man, and you got what other cases have you been in the spotlight with? What's up, Damien?
With organized crime stuff?
Yeah.
Well, I was in the Carlisi case back in the early 90s with Tony the Hatchet Chiramonte.
Can you talk about that one?
Yeah, that was a big case from the 90s when Carlisi was the boss at the time. Carlisi used to be a Cardo's driver. And Sam became the boss, and they had a couple informants that got into their crew. One of the guys that owed money to Chiaramonte went to the FBI and started wearing a wire. They had the hatchet, telling the guy was going to throw him on a hot grill and stick him with a fork in the face. And then there was another part where in one of the tapes where he's choking the guy and the guy's going, "Don't choke me, don't choke me." And the FBI is listening to this, right, as it's going on. They do nothing. They just let the guy in there. But that was a pretty big case. And there was another. There's been a couple of them. I mean, I was on the mob police case where they have the suburban officials taking money to protect Stone Park and other places. We did that case. That was with Tony Centracchio. You know who that is?
I've heard the name.
That Tony was another boss. Tony became kind of famous because the feds bugged his office. He had a carpet business right off the Kennedy Expressway. You can see it from the highway to this day, but now it's a health club. But in there they had a camera, and he was married, and his wife had a daughter, so he had a stepdaughter, and she's significantly younger than him. And his wife used to go out of town all the time for whatever reason, and his friends thought it was odd he never wanted to go out with them on Saturday nights and stuff. Then we all found out later that he was having sex with his stepdaughter, and the feds had tapes of it in the office.
What?
That's a true story. In fact, another client of mine was able to find the camera. He was sitting in the office talking to Tony, and they looked up, and there it was. They grabbed it, and within 20 minutes, the feds were there to get it.
That's crazy, man. So yeah, they put the camera there, right?
Yeah, Tony died before they could convict him. He died while he was on bond.
Oh,
and
man, I think it's the worst.
Is one of these guys that the guy you were talking about?
Which one? Hang on.
One on the right, I think, right?
Hold on. I lost my train of thought because I've got people with dogs crossing in front of me here.
Oh, it's all right. Pay attention to the road, man. I don't want.
The West Loop. There's millennials with dogs. Nobody's got kids, but everybody's got two dogs over here.
So
yeah,
you were on the Drew Peterson case, right?
I was on that case too. That's right. I forgot about that case. Wow. I don't think about what I've done in the past. I think what I got to do tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I went, and Steve said this a couple of weeks ago. I went down memory lane. I was cleaning out my office, and I found all of these old newspaper clippings. Right, Stevie Bullets?
Yeah.
Of cases I've done over the years, and I kind of thought to myself, my God, no wonder. I mean, I did a lot of stuff in this city.
Yeah, you did a lot of high-profile cases.
Yeah, but I never really think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You got to put together a documentary about your life.
That's next.
Right? Save clients and get people home.
Hey, man, I'm putting together a documentary, so I could put one. I could whip one up.
Well, we got the Stevie Bull documentary coming up. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah, I saw clips of your documentary. It's good, man.
Yeah,
not mediocre.
So we're gonna be at that Claremont Collections in Chicago, Joel.
Yeah, just let me
get over there. Yeah, it's gonna be in May. We didn't get a date yet and everything, but I mean, it's all gonna work out. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
I'll come back out to Chicago.
Yeah, definitely.
Amazing.
Staxx came out here and slept at my house, Joe.
Yeah,
yeah. I did. I took the bus all the way to Chicago, man. I had to stay overnight at the bus station.
The Greyhound downtown.
Yeah, it was pretty sketchy, man.
That's a gnarly joint, ain't it?
Yeah, it was pretty wild down there.
I dropped them off at like 3 o'clock in the morning, right before I had to go to work. I'm like, Staxx, I gotta go to work, so come on. But he slept over. Yeah, I let him stay at my house and everything. And
it was cool, man.
We had a good time. We did a little driving around. I took him to a few spots.
Yeah.
Showed him where Frank Nitty killed himself over here in Riverside.
Yeah.
Showed him a couple of the houses. Yeah, it was good. He got some footage of it. And he'll come back.
Oh yeah, man. It was a long ride. My ass was numb by the time I got to Chicago, man.
How many hours?
And then you got
it was like 20, 27, I think.
That's a whole day.
Yeah, it was like 2 whole days, man. But I went all the way to Minnesota. I was working in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Oh, I see.
And yeah, so I was DJing out there. I was a DJ for a high-end strip club.
Excellent.
Yeah,
he was having a good time.
Sure.
Yeah. It was fun while it lasted. Not my kind of crowd, though. So I ended up, I'm sticking to the video editing. I'm going to stick to the video editing world, man. I don't need to be in a strip club. Buffalo Bill, what's up, man?
What are your viewers doing out there tonight?
Huh?
They sending you any questions or anything? Your subscribers out there?
Yeah, if anyone has any questions for Joe, put them in the chat. So, Joe, can you talk about the Peterson case?
I can talk about the Peterson case a little bit, sure.
So, how were you approached? Can you let the people know who Peterson is and how were you approached to be on his case?
Well, it's funny because WGN did a mock trial of Peterson with a mock jury, and they picked me to represent Peterson. I can't remember who the prosecutor was, but the jury couldn't come to a decision, and Peterson's lawyer, Joe Brodsky, who I've known for a long time, after that, so, can you come in and help? And that's when I came to him and said I could help him. I said, be more than happy to help you, Joel. And that's how I got involved.
Let's see, I got a picture of
the other lawyer, Joe Brodsky.
Yeah, through Joe Brodsky. Because I've known Joel, we came up together. I've known him probably since the 80s. And he gets.
So I had met him in.
But he's a good guy.
In the elevator. Yeah, I met him in the elevator at downtown one day. And then I had asked him, I had some questions to ask him because I don't think he doesn't have a license at this time, right?
No.
Huh?
He doesn't, right? Because I remember I had asked him, but he wasn't able because he told me that he didn't have his license or something at the moment.
Yeah.
So he couldn't advise me on something. But I remember seeing his name and stuff in like the news media representing Drew Peterson. I didn't even know that you were part of that one.
I did the closing argument in that case, and I did all the heavy lifting on the cross-examination. I made the witness cry, and I took all kinds of heat for that because, I gave it to her because she was just, she deserved that. She said that she was friends with Kathleen and Kathy was this, and Kathy, my best friend. Well, guess who didn't go to the damn wake? She didn't, right?
Oh, wow.
And I laid it on her. I said, you're such a good friend. You didn't even go to the wake, did you? No, I didn't go. I go, you were too busy for your friend, right? She just broke down the whole courtroom. Judge had to take a break. The press fucking heat for that.
Oh, man. They were probably making you look like a devil, man.
He's not even in the state no more, right? They shipped him out of state. They shipped him out of state, correct?
Yeah, out of state. You know, the truth of the matter is there was no real evidence in the case. You know, there was no physical evidence. There was no DNA. There wasn't really anything. It's really
It's just all hearsay, right?
And the manner of death was questionable too. It could have been homicide. It could have been an accident. They never really proved one way or the other. They had one whore testify. Dr. Bodden will say anything. He said it's a homicide. But the first coroner found it was an accident. It was, you know, I think the big problem with that case, it had so much publicity up front that there was no way the jury could get that out of their minds, seeing the things that he did, having dates with Drew and, you know, things like that going on Larry King. I think those things kind of, you know, hurt him with the jury. Yeah. You know, it's in the back of the jurors' minds. I mean, I think that I don't think there was anybody on that jury who didn't think he did it, but, you know, can they prove it was the thing. And I don't think they proved he did it. I think that if he didn't go on TV and act like he did and was just in the background, he probably would have never got indicted. And if he did, he probably would have won.
Yeah. So if somebody's being looked at for murder, right? Say if somebody's spouse gets murdered and they're in that situation and they're getting asked to go on these TV shows and stuff like that, what would your advice be to them?
Don't do it.
Say less, right?
Yeah, don't do it.
Say less. Say nothing.
Say nothing.
Because anything you say, they can use in court.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they use everything. They will use everything.
That's right.
Everything.
But it was an interesting case. It was a hard case.
Probably did it, but I don't remember any evidence showing it at all. Nancy Grace and Gretchen crucified him, though.
Nancy Grace cut my mic.
What happened there?
I got an argument with her and she cut my mic on live TV. On YouTube. Oh.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
Nancy Grace and the Shark. Yeah, she cut my mic. She got really pissed off. I was giving it to her pretty good. Yeah, that was a good one.
And he exhausted all his appeals, so he can't.
He's got something else
going no more.
County, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, my part was limited. I just came in to help the trial team, and I didn't worry about the publicity or any of that stuff. That was up to Greenberg and Brodsky. I just went and did my job.
Oh, Gretchen mistake, Nancy Grace. Yeah, I got one right here. Mistake. Right here. This is gonna be funny. Let's check this out.
She is a true believer, that woman.
Yeah. When she's passionate, right?
Then she's good at her job.
Joining me, special guest Joe Lopez, defense attorney for Drew Peterson. He delivered the closing argument. The fact that
fair use, CNN, fair use.
That you guys claimed throughout that everybody else was lying, and I'm referring to Kathleen Savio and Stacy Peterson. Why do you say those two ladies were lying? What's in it for them to lie?
What the hell is this?
Wow!
Oh, they did some bullshit here. Hold on. they must have like changed it up. Hold on.
I guess.
It's like somebody
edited it.
Somebody edited some bullshit.
Is that so that it can't be played?
Lopez defense team. I don't know. They're just someone messing around. Here's one of you at Peterson. Here's one of you after the
and it's going to go down. It's going to be.
You guys hear that?
Dress and some of the other claims of all time.
Yeah, the
it's
second
go into one of those books with Darrow and F. Lee Bailey.
And Lincoln Second Memorial, inaugural
That's
address.
right,
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's hope it doesn't go that long. What do you make of the Stacy factor in this trial?
Who?
The Stacy factor.
Who? Stacy who?
Stacy who?
She's on your witness list.
Oh, that's Stacy. We're hoping she shows up.
She shows up. Yeah,
maybe she'll show
if
up.
she shows up,
She
we're
got
gonna
the
call her.
Sure, Dizzle, ask away, man.
Man, we got a lot of trouble.
Absolutely, she's alive.
Of course. Does anybody have any evidence she's dead? No.
Well, there's no sign of life. I mean, she hasn't communicated with anybody. Nobody's heard from her. Nobody's
No
seen
sign
her.
I
of
haven't
life?
talked to my wife in weeks. So what?
This dude said, I haven't talked to my wife in weeks. So why did you guys get a lot of shit for that?
Well, there's this guy from Cincinnati. I'm trying to remember his name. He's got a bunch of steakhouses in Cincinnati. He jumped in his bus and he came, and he took out an ad and called us the Three Stooges because you could find that on the internet. To put my name, Three Stooges, it'll pop up. I'm trying to think of the guy's name. He owns a bunch of steakhouses out there, and he came to town with his bus, and it was a big spectacle outside every day. I mean, it was kind of like it was very strange because there was a lot of media. I mean, media from all over the world was there. You know, every day you're on TV saying something. There was no gag order, but that particular one with Stacy, a lot of people got mad when we said that because they thought we were making fun of her being dead. But like we said there, do you have any evidence that she's dead? Nobody has evidence she's dead or alive.
Yeah.
The odd thing about Stacy, a lot of people don't know this, and I said her mother disappeared very similar. So that's a fact. You can Google that. That's out there too. That was something else that we threw in there. But that was a big case, and we took a lot of heat on that case. We got a lot of publicity. I can remember being up in Lincoln Park, one of the nicer neighborhoods in the city, and being at a Whole Foods, and some woman coming up to me, "How dare you represent that guy? How dare you? What do you have to say for yourself?" I go, "The avocados are 2 for $1."
Yo, T Dizzle got a question for you. He says,
Yeah.
I'm a distant relation of the builder, and I always wanted to meet him. If I ever get to Chicago, do you think I'd be realistic to say hello to him?
Well, he used to hang out at the Rosebud on Taylor Street, but I'm not sure eating his scrannel and beans all the time. But he's around.
Mm-hmm.
He's around. In fact, his brother lives across the street from me up in Lake Geneva, Donnie. And
I got one of your favorite videos I found on YouTube, man.
Which one?
We went over this one last time. We did a thing, remember? This one.
Not one of my finer moments.
Oh.
Took a lot of that too.
Hey man, you got to handle your business. Tell the people what happened. Like, give some context on this video.
Oh, this particular client was a wife. He had a history of domestic violence, like beat up girls. So you thought he was a tough guy. And we were in a heated argument about his case, and my wife had appeared a couple of times on his behalf, and now all of a sudden he's motherfucking us and this and that, and, just being very obstinate and saying very bad things. And he reached through, he tried to grab the file out of my arm, and I didn't like that. And then I walked back. I shouldn't have walked back, but I walked back. We had another confrontation. He came toward me. I gave him a shot through the bars. Keep him away from me. That was
all right. Let's watch this.
And I got
that's you on the bottom right? Talking to the guy.
Yeah.
You can see he gets into the confrontation.
Yeah, he's getting confrontational. Now I leave. Now he says, "I'm gonna fuck your wife."
And then everyone's like, "Oh," in the thing, right?
Yeah. Now I come back after I hear that. What'd you say?
What'd you say? Here.
Well, anyway.
That was funny, man.
Well, he had that coming though.
He did.
Hey, man.
I got locked up for like 20 hours.
Yeah.
And the sheriffs were really nice to me. Let me make a phone call every hour and stuff. They let me sit outside the cell by the desk and everything, be with them. But you know, one of the things that it did teach me is what anxiety your client is going through waiting for his case. Because as lawyers, we don't get to feel that anxiety because it's not us. But when it becomes you, you realize why clients act like they do and to ask the questions they do, because you're under a
when you're sitting there and you're needing to get out, you're like,
you feel, right? I feel the same anxiety. I mean, I used to feel that anxiety when I was going through my divorce case, and my lawyer would leave me in the hallway and go with the other lawyer and talk to the judge, and I didn't know what was going on. Sitting there going to trial and having somebody testify against you and point you out and say that you said these things you didn't say, because of course he threw the N-word in there. And you know what? It's not one of the words I use. My mom was Italian. She didn't use that word. My dad was from Mexico. He didn't even know what that word meant. It just wasn't in our vocabulary. Yeah. And he said that, but he was the only one that said that. And the judge didn't believe it. But, regardless of it, it was hard to sit there and listen to it, and thinking to yourself, you know what? This judge could believe him and convict me of this.
Yeah.
So,
definitely, man.
I felt that. Now I know what my clients are feeling, when they're going in front of the judge. So it was actually a good learning experience for me, I think.
And when was that?
That was like in 2015.
Yeah, like 8 years ago.
Yeah, 8 years ago. I didn't lose my license. I didn't get disciplined. I got lucky. The judge found me not guilty. But, it was just one of those lessons you learn in life. Thinking about it now, would I do it now? Probably not. But, I've had guys grab my tie before. I've had a lot of issues back there with inmates sometimes. And, some are more prone to violence than others. Some are just complete gentlemen. Some are complete jerk-offs. I mean, it just depends.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I say about 99.9% of my clients are all pretty good people. But, every once in a while you get one.
Jay Costanza says, did you find Nick C. Calabrese credible?
It was hard to say if I find him incredible, because he was full of shit, and there's no doubt about that. There was stuff that we learned about him that the judge let us put evidence, shit that he stole, and lying to people. So it's hard to believe anything he said. But the jury obviously believes him. That's the important part. In any lawyers don't judge clients, and lawyers
Here, I'll just mute your mic. I'll just mute your mic for now. Bullets. Just go like that when you're like you're good.
So yeah. Thing I want to say, and I'm going to get going pretty soon, is as a lawyer, I've learned this over the years, and a lot of lawyers don't feel this way. As a lawyer, you don't judge your client. Okay. Lawyers will ask, why did you do that? Didn't you think that was stupid? I mean, who are you? Are you the lawyer, or are you the father yelling at the kid? I don't like, somebody tells me a story. I didn't do it. Okay. Well, there's 30 witnesses said you're doing it. You did it. They're liars. Okay. That's our defense. They're liars. I don't argue with them. I don't tell them they're full of shit. I go with what they believe is their defense. And I think more lawyers should do that. And I see lawyers all the time arguing.
Yep. So now what if somebody, and they're guilty, like it's plain and simple, they're guilty, but they're telling you, I didn't do it, but it's plain and obvious that they're guilty. What happens then?
Just keep on going like they're not guilty. First of all, I don't ask clients to confess to me. Most lawyers say, tell me what happened. Did you do it? I don't care if you did it or you didn't do it. All I care about is, can they prove the case? That's my job. I'm not here. This is not a moral thing. This is a legal thing. And if you did it and you get away with it, Outstanding. Outstanding. And if you didn't do it and you get convicted, that's awful. But lawyers shouldn't judge clients. Lawyers aren't here to tell clients how they should live their life and how they shouldn't do things the way they're doing it. When somebody comes to you with a problem, a criminal case, you got to figure out a way to try to get them out of it. Period. Whether they did or didn't do it. And it doesn't matter if they did it. Who cares if they did it? It's not.
Yeah, but what if it's obvious that they did it, but they're lying to you?
That's fine. That's their position.
But it doesn't put you in a position where you're like, damn, I don't know how to finagle this because it's obvious that he did it.
No, I just go with the flow. Just go with the flow.
I don't.
You try,
I guess,
theory of defense to beat the case. My wife has got this really tough case coming up. It's a racketeering case, and she's like, I don't have a defense. I can't think of a defense. I said, well, I've had cases like that too, where literally I didn't think of the defense until the night before the case. I had the case for 2 years because sometimes you don't think of it till the end and you come up with an idea. And like her case, a tough case. There's tapes, there's surveillance. Those are usually like slow pleas, but you come up with something and you try to hang your hat on at least one thing, maybe win a few counts or confuse the jury. You do whatever you can. You do whatever you can. You got to save the client. You got to do whatever you can.
Jay Costanza says, who was hard to control, Frank Sr. or Huck?
Huck.
I mean, Hatch.
They were pretty much. I've had 3 of them that are pretty wild. I had Frank Schweiss too, the German, and he was another mob hitter. They all 3 were similarly the same. They were used to getting their way. Number one, okay. So it would always, create a little conflict because I don't play that game. You might be the boss on the street, but I'm the boss in the courtroom, bro. So you got that. So that was always, I can tell you this. I was selected to represent these guys. You know what I'm saying? They could have given these clients to anybody they wanted to, right?
Yeah. When
they gave me the Hatch, they're like, this guy, there's only one guy we can think of that has any balls to stand up to this guy as a lawyer, and that's you. You go in there and deal with him. And he was hard, but after a while with these guys, dealing with them, they feel pretty comfortable around me. I don't argue with them. Even if I know they're lying or telling me an untruth, I just leave it and I listen. And it's just part of your personality. You're able to deal with these people. When I was asked to take on Frank's case, I was like, I don't want that case. Well, guess what? You're the only one that can handle the guy. You're the only one. I wanted a different case from a different defendant, but I got stuck with Frank.
Yeah, Frank was a hard ass, huh?
They're all 3 are very similar. Number one, they're all respectful most of the time to their attorneys. But when they get mad, their lips quiver, their eyes pop out, and they look fucking furious. They look fucking ferocious. Ferocious. You guys, Frank, relax. Take a deep breath, Frank. I think the way you have to handle them is the way you have to treat them with some respect. You can't lie to them. That's number one. You shouldn't be lying to any clients because then you get caught lying. You look like a jerk off. But I say that all 3 of them were very difficult clients. There's no question about it. There were a couple of times where the guards would have had to come back where we had little shouting matches. As everything's fine. Everybody's calmed down. So they're very difficult clients.
Yeah, I froze. Oh, we're good. You froze for a second, but you're good.
You hear me now?
Yep. So would they ever have you trying to push the envelope? Would they ever have you trying to like bring them food or anything like that?
No. Well, I had to feed Frank. Yeah.
Yeah, Frank.
No
I kind of figured that would be the guy too.
He ate these. They were called Big Bet or something. They were these cheeseburgers they sold in the vending machine in the visiting room. And he always told me, bring me quarters so you can get me one of these burgers. You had to have this double burger all the time. He was the only one. But he liked to eat. So.
Cataruccio or some shit like that was the capo of the Grand Avenue crew. Did Anthony talk about the guy under him in the Grand Avenue crew? And can you walk about his abortion clinics and his poker machines?
Well, that's Centracchio. That's the guy I was telling you about that they found.
Oh, yeah.
Anthony Centracchio. Yeah, that was the boss. He had abortion clinics. There's no question about it. But no, he was only around in that case for about 6 or 8 months before he passed away. So nothing really ever happened in the case with him.
You said that was the guy who was sleeping with his stepdaughter, right?
Yep.
What? That's insane, man.
It's a true story.
And they had it on wire, you said, right?
They had it on video.
Wow. What are your thoughts on all of the hitters that were at the house in Bentonville?
Well, I know all the names, I know all the players, and they were all serious people. There's no question about it.
Do you believe the Chicago outfit is anything like its former self?
No, there's nothing left.
There's
nothing left.
Do you think the government is just trying to make something out of nothing?
Well, there's really, there's stuff that happens in the western suburbs with the younger generation and stuff, and they're a little reckless and they talk loud. They do a lot of things. I don't know too much about them kids out there because I live in the city. But I know that they're out there. There's a social club out there. The FBI watches all the time out in Addison, and there's little things going on out there. But with internet gambling and Craigslist and all the traditional vices they've been taken over by the internet, and a lot of guys are just working.
Yeah, just regular jobs.
Regular jobs working. Yeah. There's not much left to chop up. There's gambling's every. I got a pizza place a half a block from my house. They got 4 game machines in it.
You can just gamble right on your phone nowadays.
That's
everything,
right.
Like you said, everything is right there. People don't need to go to people like that for things like that anymore. They used to have control over the unions. It was a different story, right?
Everything was different back then. They purged them out of the unions in the 80s and the 90s, and again, they're around, but they're not really doing much. I mean, there's no cases. There's one extortion case coming. I forget the name of the defendant. He's going to trial next month or something. But other than that, there's really nothing. They always talk about trying to get the Falcon and trying to get this guy and that guy. But, these guys aren't doing nothing. How are you going to get them if they're not doing nothing?
What's your top 3 restaurants?
In Chicago?
Yeah.
My top 3 restaurants, probably Rosebud is one of them. I like Mastro's. That's another one. And a place called Bar Sienna.
I've been to the RPM Steakhouse.
That's a good joint.
Yeah, it was good. It was expensive, but it was good.
Yeah, 4 ounces instead of 12. That's why we like going to Mastro's. It's really big. Well, I got to sign off, guys.
I appreciate you taking the time, man.
Okay.
Now I'll hit you up next time I'm in Chicago. We were gonna get up last time and things just didn't line up right, but I'll definitely link up with you next time.
In May.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I'll be out there in May. Thank you guys, man.
I'll text you.
And tell your son I said hi, Stevie Bullets.
I will. Yeah, he's over here driving me crazy.
What's up, man? Yeah.
All right.
Tell him I said what's up,
All right,
man.
thanks.
All right.
All right, brother.
Yo, if you
Take
guys
care.
like this show, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And remember, don't be a bitch. Peace. Thanks, bro.